The Tuesday, September 27th special meeting of the School Board of Charlotte County is hereby called to order. In Charlotte County, we will achieve our vision of student success through our mission. We will provide an innovative educational environment that allows and inspires success for everyone. To lead us in the pledge to our flag today, I'd like to invite someone who has an item on the agenda today that he's been working on for months and months, our 5-year plan. Mr. Gene Spur, would you please come lead us in the pledge? Please stand and join us. Thank you, Mr. Spur.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Tonight, you may notice Dr. Whitaker is actually sitting out in the audience, and in his stead is our Assistant Superintendent, Ms. Barbara Mellinson, and this is part of the Superintendent Training Program. So she has met with all school board members this week to work on our agenda preparation. She's met with leadership staff to prepare herself, and she's had quite an interesting 2 weeks. So welcome. We're glad you're here.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Madam Assistant Superintendent, do we have any additions or corrections to tonight's agenda?
Yes, Madam Chair, we have one addition, addendum number 1 to item H2D, the out-of-field teacher list.
So moved. Second.
Okay, it has been moved and seconded that we approve the addition of item H2D. Is there any board discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That motion carries unanimously. Next item is reports. Ms. Mellinson.
Yes, ma'am. We have one report for student recognition, and if the board will move down in front of the dais, Kathy Hoff will come forward to recognize 2 students for perfect FCAT scores. And Dr. Whitaker, please join us.
Good evening. First of all, before I get started, I would like to apologize to the board and to Dr. Whitaker because we actually had 3 perfect scores on FCAT reading and math this year for all 3rd graders as well. So this evening, I have in the house with us Aaliyah Goldschmidt from Myakka River Elementary and her parents, and Harley Rusher from Vineland Elementary, who both scored perfect scores on the reading and the math. So we're really honored to have them here before us this evening. And I would first like to introduce Lynn Nicholas, who is from Myakka, who is Aaliyah's teacher from last year, who would like to say a few words.
Begin by thanking our principal, Mr. Harvey, for asking me to speak this evening. Thank you. I am honored to have been given the opportunity to speak to you today about one of my former students, Aaliyah. Aaliyah was a student in my 3rd grade class last year. From the moment Aaliyah walked into my classroom, I knew how special she was. Yes, she was an A student, but more importantly, she was a kind-hearted, caring young girl who was always willing to help other classmates. She respected her classmates, and they in turn respected her. Aaliyah walked into my classroom well prepared every day and always had a smile on her face. What more could a teacher ask for? I have spoken to all of Aaliyah's teachers, and we agree what a special young girl she is. Aaliyah's perfect scores in reading and math is just a testament to her work ethic, and it proves that by working hard, positive things will happen. As educators, our responsibility is to open up the minds of the young and allow them to explore and absorb all that is around them. Aaliyah is just one example of what we as educators try to do. Aaliyah, I am so proud of you. I still look forward to your visits every morning as you pass by my classroom to say hello, and always with a smile on your face. You made my job easy as a teacher, and I look forward to seeing you continue to grow, learn, and reach your goals. Aaliyah, continue to reach for those stars because you never know what may be behind them. You will not be disappointed. I would like to end with a small quote from Walt Disney. All your dreams will come true if you have the courage to pursue them. Aaliyah, I know you have the courage, the strength, and the desire to do well. I believe in you. All your teachers believe in you. Your parents believe in you. But most of all, importantly, I know you believe in yourself. Congratulations, Aaliyah. I'm so proud.
I will. I was going to do it all together. You want me to do one at a time? Okay. I would also like to ask to come to the podium Laura Blunier, who's the principal of Vineland, who'd like to say a few words.
It is indeed an honor to be here to recognize Harley Rusher, who has been an outstanding student at Vineland for a number of years. Both his third grade teacher, Mrs. Baker, and fourth grade teacher, Mrs. Castillo, are in the audience, and they supplied me with some quotes to share with you tonight. Mrs. Baker says that Harley was an excellent student who showed great leadership both in and out of the classroom. He would even begin research on topics that the teacher hadn't even begun teaching yet. He was always eager to help other students as well, and a joy to have in the classroom. His current teacher, Mrs. Castillo, says that he's definitely a student who puts first things first. He plays soccer several nights a week, so he makes sure his assignments that are due later in the week are completed early, so it doesn't interfere with his soccer practice. He's a taskmaster and always comes to school prepared and eager to start his day. He's an absolute delight. I can remember last year when Harley broke his arm. I believe it was during soccer. And his biggest concern was not the pain in his arm, but was he going to miss his perfect attendance because he had to miss school. He's a delightful young man, a well-rounded student, and a true leader at Vineland Elementary School. And we are so honored to recognize his perfect FCAT scores. Congratulations.
If parents would come up and grandparents of Harley and Aaliyah, and please shake School Board's hand with them, because it's because of you that behind their pushing that they do what they do every day.
Not even. Okay, next report is the student wellness report.
Yes, Madam Chair. If Donna Widmeyer will come forward to present the annual report on student wellness.
Good evening, Madam Chair, school board members, Barbara Mellinson, hello. Florida statutes require school districts to annually review their school wellness policy, and this is required by the Child Nutrition and WIC Reauthorization Act of 2004. So every year we take a look at our policy, and we have to make sure that it has an opportunity for public input, which is what tonight is all about. If people want to make comments, we also have our student wellness teams at every single one of our schools, which also involves our parents, and they can make recommendations for changes in the policy if they wish. Terry Whitaker and I work collaboratively on this, and she's the one that actually has to turn in the certification. However, I do the student wellness piece, so we're working together on that. And at this time, we are recommending no changes in our wellness policy unless we do receive some suggestions for discussion from the public or from the board.
Any questions or suggestions for Dr. Widmeyer?
Or will we be getting because, when I click on it, I don't get anything, so we're going to be getting the report?
There's no recommendation.
But
This is the report.
If you click on
but I
public
mean-
hearing, it'll come up where it says public hearing.
No, we're not
No.
on the public hearing.
No.
But that's where the,
But usually in the report, am I not mistaken, that there are usually, you tell us what's happening?
Oh, the compilation of
Yeah.
what schools have done over the
Yeah,
past years?
right.
Yes, no, that hasn't been completed yet. So,
Okay. That's
so
what-
yeah,
okay.
yes. But that is not the requirement by law. That's
Okay.
just something that I do for you all.
Those-
So you can
that
kind
is-
of know what's been
those are
going
nice-
on.
That's nice to have that every year. I
Okay.
like reading.
Okay, I'll make sure that you
Thank
What's
you.
coming?
Thank you.
Yes.
Any other questions or comments for Dr. Widmeyer? Okay.
Thank you.
I do want to ask you at the school sites,
Mm-hmm.
they're still meeting regularly, right? I know they still have them, but how often do they meet?
Generally speaking, the student wellness committees, well, it kind of depends on the school. Some of the schools have their big meeting at the beginning of the year with all the people. They decide what their goals are going to be, and then they disseminate the responsibilities to everyone. And then there's one person at the school who's responsible for collecting all of that. That's pretty much the way most of the schools do it, and then they usually meet again. I send them a reminder second semester to review
I was
the
gonna say
goals
spring, right?
that they
Yeah.
have, and then we get the report at the end of the year.
Okay, perfect. Anything else? All right, thank you. Then at this time, we are going to recess the regular board meeting to call the public hearing to order for purposes of School Board Policy 8400, Environmental Health and Safety. Ms. Mellinson.
Yes, Madam Chair. This has been workshopped twice by the board. This policy is being amended to be consistent with federal and state laws permitting the use of service animals and to be consistent with the Florida Administrative Code to prohibit unnecessarily idling school buses.
Any questions for Ms. Mellison? Are there any members of the citizens group who would like to speak? Okay, then if there's no objection, we'll close the public hearing and resume the regular meeting. Do we have a recommended action on Board Policy 8400?
Yes, Madam Chair. The superintendent recommends approval of Board Policy 8400, Environmental Health and Safety.
So moved.
second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve Board Policy 8400, Environmental Health and Safety. Is there any board discussion? All right, seeing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That motion carries unanimously. Moving on to new business, the consent agenda. Ms. Mellinson.
The superintendent recommends approval of the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the consent agenda as submitted. Any board discussion? All right, seeing none. Actually, there were the contracts and agreements that I wanted to make mention of because, yes, I noticed that the two bottom two affiliated agreements with Dr. Okomsky and Tidewell Hospice are new types of experiences for our nursing students, and I thought they were really good changes and new opportunities for some people who might be interested in different types of health care opportunities. So I did want to make mention of those. Any further discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That motion carries unanimously. It's time to recess the regular meeting yet again for purposes of calling to order the Charlotte School Board Leasing Corporation. Ms. Ellenson.
Yes, Madam Chair. This is an amendment to Series 2010A Supplemental Trust Agreement. This amendment gives consent of the Bank of America to use excess bond proceeds issued to finance Meadow Park Elementary School to be used to finance the construction of a cafeteria at Lemon Bay High School. And Mr. Greiner is in the audience if anybody has any questions.
Questions for Mr. Greiner? Mr. Greiner, did you feel the need to say anything on that? Well, we appreciate the utilization of those dollars in a very necessary way. Are there any citizens who wish to speak on this issue? Okay, seeing none, then if there's no objection, we will close the Leasing Corporation meeting and resume the regular meeting. Do we have a recommended action on the First Amendment to the Series 2010A Supplemental Trust Agreement?
Yes, Madam Chair. The Superintendent recommends approval of the First Amendment to Series 2010A Supplemental Trust Agreement as submitted.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded that we approve the First Amendment to the supplemental, which is the Supplemental Trust Agreement. Board discussion. It's very exciting that we're getting this much more for our money than we were expecting, so that's exciting. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That motion carries unanimously. Next item is the legislative proposal for the Greater Florida Consortium of School Boards. Ms. Mellinson.
Our own Eileen Miller is the board's legislative liaison for the Greater Florida Consortium of School Boards. Ms. Miller, would you like to address this item?
Thank you. Yes, as you may remember, we met with Vern Crawford this past summer to select our legislative issues. These, in turn, were added to the concern of the other 10 counties participating in the Greater Florida Consortium of School Boards. August 26th and 27th, the legislative representatives from each county met to review the 2012 issues and adopt the platform. Tonight, you will be voting on that platform. If, for some reason, you or another county school board are not comfortable with one of the issues and vote to eliminate it from the platform, it will not be part of the final plan, period. That would be the end of it. And I also want to say, as issues arise when the legislators start meeting, we will be informed of those if there's anything else we feel needs to be added. And thank you very much.
Do you have recommended action?
Yes, Madam Chair. The Superintendent recommends approval of the Greater Florida Consortium of School Boards legislative proposal as presented.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the legislative proposal for the Greater Florida Consortium of School Boards. Is there any board discussion, any item that you feel we can't live with? Mr. Vincent.
I just have a question for my own understanding. From what Eileen said, let's say that one of the other school boards decides that the whole funding issue is something they're not comfortable with. That would come out.
Correct.
And we vote that this is we would still have the opportunity to produce our own.
Correct.
Okay, that's
Yes.
all I wanted to know.
The way that this works, because we're a consortium of school boards, is if any one board can't support any bullet item, the consortium can't support the item.
Got it.
So believe me when I say we fleshed out a lot before it even got to this point. But even so, you're absolutely correct. Any board at their meeting tonight or whenever it's on their agenda could eliminate any one or more bullets from the platform. Okay? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Next item, the 5-year work plan. Ms. Mellinson.
Yes, Madam Chair. The 5-year plan has been workshopped previously by the board, and Jerry Olivo and Gene Spur are in the audience if anybody has any questions or if they'd like to make comments about this plan.
Mr. Spur, Mr. Olivo, did either of you have anything that you wanted to add from the last workshop? All right, any board members have any questions? You caught something in one of the little line items that you didn't expect to see? Got nothing for you guys. All
I was
right.
looking for a whole bunch of money I didn't expect to see, but I didn't find it.
Do we have a recommended action?
The superintendent recommends approval of the 5-year plan as submitted.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the 5-year plan as submitted. Any board discussion? It really is a challenging and important document, so we appreciate your time and energy on that. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The motion carries unanimously. Next item is item D, out-of-field teacher notifications, and I just want to remind you that we added in this section in addition to the out-of-teacher list. So this is, if there's no objection, we'll take both the addition and the regular agenda item together. Ms. Melanson.
The superintendent recommends acceptance of the out-of-field teacher notification as amended this evening.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded that we approve the out-of-field teacher notifications as amended. Any board discussion? Actually, I was expecting far more considering the staff rearrangements and placements and that kind of thing. So I was quite pleased that it was as short a list as it was. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Personnel action. Ms. Melanson.
Yes, Madam Chair, the superintendent recommends approval of the personnel action as submitted.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the personnel action as submitted. Any board discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Are there any citizens who wish to speak before the board tonight? Okay. Attorney comment. Ms. Young.
Nothing tonight, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Board member comment. Mrs. Rendell.
I visited Liberty Elementary School a couple of weeks ago and saw their Leader in Me mural that is on the wall I call it the breezeway wall. It's where you go out the main office and you go towards all the classrooms. And the whole school is studying the book, The 7 Habits of Happy Kids. And Tom Gifford, the principal, showed me the book, and he opened it up into the inside cover, and that mural is the exact replica of what is in the book. It's a beautiful mural. It's well worth the trip out there to see it. And as the kids are passing by, they're pointing to it, and they're saying, "Oh yeah, be proactive," and all those kind of things. So it's a great teaching tool. And Ron Bates is the artist who drew it, and he gave the school a pretty good deal considering how long it took him to paint it. And he's willing to go to any other school for the same rate to paint them a mural as well. It's a very effective way to talk about the 7 habits and reinforce it without having to have an actual lesson. It's just right there every day for the kids to see. So it's definitely well worth the trip out there. And Mr. Swift, you are a more courageous board member than I to face a radio host and, I don't know, 3 or 4 other what I would call non-education supporting people on the radio for 2 hours. Anytime I went, I took some kind of reinforcement with me the last time Doug came with me, because there's no way I'm going to face the lines by
I
myself.
offered him the opportunity, but he chose not to support me in that endeavor.
I see.
So we will remember that when it's evaluation time.
But anyways, I took notes like I always do, and just to see exactly what the callers are interested in, what questions they're asking, what the those club members wanted to know. And as I reread my notes, there's all kinds of stuff on the budget, free and reduced, the GPS system, teacher salaries, merit pay, and there were 13 people who called in, and the callers, the host, the people that were there, the 3 or 4 other men who were there, not one person asked you about our students, what they're learning, how did you get to be at such a high-performing district? What are you doing that's different from the counties north and south and east of us? What's happening with our educating and our students? What's going on in our district? No one asked that. All they want to know is there are quite a few questions on free and reduced lunch and why are we giving handouts to our kids and why are we wasting money on this GPS system and what kind of return are we getting for our money? And of course, you need to run your school district like a business and on and on. And really, no one called to say how good we were. So it's I don't know how you took it for 2 hours. But anyways, good for you for putting up with that. And Mrs. Melanson, you did look at this, 30 minutes.
Wow.
It'll be.
We
so
can certainly.
thank you.
Mr. Swift
Lee hasn't gone
spoken
yet.
So it'll be 40 minutes. So, thank you for putting up with us this week.
Thank you much.
And that's it.
Mrs. Miller.
Okay, and I too want to thank Barbara or Ms. Melanson for doing such a great job in meeting with you. I enjoyed it. It was very pleasant. Andrea also at the consortium meeting. Andrea was president of the group and the facilitator, and did such a great job and so well organized. Everyone commented on it, and it made it. It was It could be something that just drug on, but you kept it moving, and it really was interesting. So, and I credit you with that.
Thank you.
There was a paper that you had in our booklet, and I think I've heard it before, but it's always good to go over again. It's short. Constitution of the State of Florida, Article 9, Section 1. The education of children is a fundamental value of the people of the state of Florida. It is therefore a paramount duty of the state to make adequate provisions for the education of all the children residing within its borders. Adequate provisions shall be made by law for a uniform, efficient, safe, secure, and high-quality system of free public schools that allows students to obtain a high-quality education. Amen. Okay, thank you very much.
Mr. Vincent.
It is my anniversary today, so I'm going to do my best to get home to the wife who's waiting for me.
Wonderful. And yet, we still have to call on Mr. Swift.
Nothing tonight, Madam Chairman.
He's just doing that.
Somebody note that, please. Well, before I pass it over to Ms. Melanson, and obviously we'll see if Dr. Whitaker has anything he wants to say, I wanted to make note of Mr. Swift's Florida School Board Association Board of Directors retreat, because Mr. Swift, you may or may not know, hosted 60-some-odd people here in Punta Gorda, and it was a very busy day and a half, 2 days, and you did a fine job, and people thought it was wonderful, and they loved the Wyvern in Punta Gorda. I can't tell you when we bring in people from out of town how much they love Punta Gorda. They just can't stop raving about how wonderful Punta Gorda is. So we were thrilled to do that. But Mr. Swift, you showed fine leadership, and the association is in your good hands, and we all feel confident for that. Ms. Melanson, thank you so much for a efficient meeting, and I know that it is always a little bit daunting before you sit up here, but once you sit up here, you realize it's no big deal. So we were glad to have you.
Thank you. First of all, on a sad note, we've lost 2 of our school district family recently. Debbie Jalen of Port Charlotte passed away on September 22nd. She is a high school graduate, Charlotte High School, and she began her career in August of 1987, and she was part of the Tarpon family for the past 11 years. Please keep her family in your prayers. Danuta Mishashak of Rotunda West also passed away recently after an illness for the past several years. She was part of the food service staff at L.A. Anger Middle School. She began working as part of our family in January of 2005. And as well, please keep her family in your thoughts and your prayers. On a personal note, I want to thank, first of all, the superintendent for giving me this wonderful opportunity. I also want to thank all of my colleagues for all of your help and your support for the last few weeks as I have worked on this agenda. And I especially want to thank Teresa Dow and Margie Smith for their guidance and their help and making sure that I had everything that I needed. I am especially appreciative to the school board members for your patience and the interactions that I've had with you the last few days. For the members of the public who sees this efficient, effective meeting that lasts about a half hour, there's hours and hours of preparation by the school board that goes into making this run so smoothly. I'm so proud to say that we have to have the most knowledgeable and the hardest working board in the state of Florida. They know everything on this agenda. They ask pointed questions, and when they come here, they're prepared. So I am certainly proud to have worked with you on this agenda, and I want to thank you very much.
Dr. Whitaker?
Thank you. I'm not sure Barb was so grateful for this opportunity 40 minutes ago. But you did a great job. You calm, cool, collected. I'm sure you were paddling furiously underneath. Excellent job. I want to thank the board also for your patience with us as I give staff opportunities to come up and experience what it's like to take a leadership role and to have the conversations that they have with each of you. It's a good learning experience for them. It gives them an opportunity to build empathy for the superintendent. But it's a great growth opportunity for our staff. So I appreciate you putting up with this. Dr. Gaylor started this, and I thought it was a great gift to continue with. I want to give Mr. Swift a heads up that the next meeting is my anniversary.
Oh.
I don't think we can go 2 in a row.
And that's all I have for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Then if there's no further business to come before the board, meeting adjourned.
Ian, how many years?
14.
Congratulations.